What's something you saw as a kid but didn't realize was messed up until you were older? When I was 8, my mom would take me to visit Aunt Sarah every Thursday after school. Aunt Sarah wasn't really my aunt, just my mom's friend who lived in a big house with a pool. I loved those visits because Aunt Sarah let me swim while she and Mom talked inside. The strange part was that we only visited when Uncle Robert was traveling for work. Mom was very specific about checking if he would be home before we came over. One Thursday, we arrived at Aunt Sarah's house to find her with a bruised cheek. When I asked what happened, she laughed and said she walked into a door like a silly goose. Mom quickly sent me to the pool. Through the patio doors, I could see them talking intensely. Aunt Sarah was crying. Mom was holding her hands and nodding. I remember thinking adults were so dramatic about everything. That night, I overheard Mom on the phone. "Sarah, you can't keep living like this. What if next time it's worse? What about Lily?" I didn't know who Lily was. I thought maybe it was Aunt Sarah's secret daughter who lived somewhere else, like in the books I read. A few weeks later, Mom woke me up in the middle of the night. "We're having a sleepover at our house," she whispered excitedly, as if it was a fun surprise. Aunt Sarah was in our living room with a little girl about my age. The girl was clutching a teddy bear and had a Hello Kitty backpack. "This is Lily," Mom said. "She's going to be staying in your room tonight. Can you share your bed?" Lily didn't talk much. She just stared at the floor and nodded when asked questions. When I asked where her dad was, she flinched. Aunt Sarah quickly changed the subject. That night, I woke up to Lily crying in her sleep. I didn't know what to do, so I just patted her arm until she quieted down. The next morning, Aunt Sarah and Lily were gone before I woke up. Mom looked tired, but relieved. "Where did they go?" I asked over breakfast. "To start an adventure," Mom said vaguely. "Sometimes people need to start fresh." We never visited Aunt Sarah again. When I asked about her, Mom would just say she moved away. I eventually forgot about them as years passed. 15 years later, I was helping Mom clean out our attic when I found a shoebox full of postcards. They were from different cities across the country, spanning several years, all signed simply S&L. One had a photo of the Grand Canyon with a message, "5 years free. Lily made the honor roll. Thank you for that night. You saved us both." I showed it to Mom, confused. "Is this from Aunt Sarah?" Mom sat down heavily. "Yes, Sarah and her daughter Lily. I thought Lily was her secret daughter. I didn't realize she lived there too. Lily wasn't a secret. She was just never allowed outside when Robert was home. He said she was too noisy." The memories came flooding back. Aunt Sarah's bruised face, the midnight sleepover, Lily flinching at the mention of her father. "Robert was hurting them," I said, finally understanding. Mom nodded. "For years. That night you remember. Sarah finally called me after he put his hands on Lily for the first time. We had 30 minutes while he was passed out drunk to get them out. Where did they go? A women's shelter first, then Sarah's sister in Arizona. Then they kept moving whenever Robert got close to finding them." I stared at the postcards, seeing them differently now. They weren't just travel souvenirs. They were proof of survival. "Did he ever find them?" "No. He died 3 years ago." Mom's voice was flat. "Sarah and Lily live in Oregon now. Lily's in college." I remembered the little girl clutching her teddy bear, crying in her sleep beside me. How completely I had misunderstood everything happening around me.